As I sat on the patio of my Hamptons vacation home, my fingertips scrolling over the walls of my chilled champagne glass, my gaze fell on Aidan on the lawn not far away. He was in a white linen shirt, cuffs casually rolled up to his forearm, discussing drawings for a new project with his partners at the architectural firm, and the sun was shining on his light brown hair like a layer of gold dust. After 3 years of marriage, I would still be moved by such images. I am Leah, a freelance illustrator who has found a foothold in New York by contributing to children's picture books, and Aidan, a partner in a well-known Manhattan architecture firm. Our encounters are like old-fashioned romantic movies. His dog knocks over my easel while I'm sketching in Central Park. The moment he bends over to pick up a paintbrush, the smile in his blue eyes like a spring snowmelt. Leah, try this blueberry pie, Mrs. Martha just delivered it. Aidan came over, holding a small plate of dessert in his hand, the other hand naturally wrapped around my waist. The smell of cedar and sunshine on him is the reassuring feeling I know best. Leah, why haven't you slept yet? He hung up the phone in a hurry and got up to hug me. Whose phone number? I took a step back, my voice trembling. It's just a work matter, and there is a temporary need on Partier's side. He avoided my gaze and reached for the documents on the table. Go to sleep, I'll come when I'm done. I looked at his flustered look, and for the first time felt that there was an invisible layer of fog between us. Back in the bedroom, I tossed and turned, couldn't sleep, picked up my phone and swiped social software. But in a niche forum in the construction industry, I saw someone discussing Aidan Cole's ex-wife is returning to China. That name was like a needle, piercing my heart. Aidan's ex-wife, Evelyn. I have only seen her photos. In the photo album of Aidan's hometown, she is wearing a red dress, holding Aidan's arm and smiling brightly. They were married for 2 years and divorced 5 years ago. Aidan said that because of personality differences, I never asked much, and I always felt that it was his past and should not be touched. But now, that past seems to be coming back. Leah, try this blueberry pie, Mrs. Martha just delivered it. Aidan came over, holding a small plate of dessert in his hand, and his other hand naturally wrapped around my waist. He smelled of cedar and sunshine, a sense of reassurance I was most familiar with. Did the discussion go well today? I took a bite of the pie and the sweet and sour of the blueberries spread on the tip of my tongue. Not bad, but Partia temporarily changed the POC, and I will touch it again next week, he said casually, his fingertips quickly flicking across the screen of the phone, and I caught a glimpse of his frown as if stung by something. What's wrong? I asked. Nothing. Work email. He put his phone back in his pocket and smiled reluctantly. I didn't ask any more, but noticed that he checked his phone frequently during meals and didn't even take a few bites of his usual favorite steak. In the evening, I was in the studio working on a draft, and Aidan said I was going to the study to deal with work. At 1 o'clock in the morning, I got up to go to the kitchen to pour water, and when I passed by the study, the door was ajar, and his low voice came from inside. I know, but now is not the time. Leah is at home. My footsteps stopped. My heart was clenched by a hand. He had never avoided me to make a phone call in the middle of the night, let alone in this cautious tone. I gently pushed open the door and he suddenly turned back. The phone screen was still on and the call interface stopped on a noted number. When I walked Aidan out on Monday morning, he paused in the hallway and suddenly hugged me. Leah, I may have to work overtime this week, so I don't have to wait for me at night. Is it because of the new party at POC? I asked. Well, the other party is more demanding. He kissed my forehead and turned away. Watching his car disappear around the corner, my anxiety grew like a vine. In the afternoon, I went to Aidan's office to drop off his laptop at home. The lady at the front desk smiled and greeted me. Miss Leah, you are just in time. Aidan just went to the conference room with Miss Evelyn. Miss Evelyn? The computer in my hand almost fell to the ground. It's the new representative of Party, very elegant. I heard that it's still President Aidan. The receptionist realized that he had made a mistake and quickly closed his mouth. I froze in place, and my blood seemed to coagulate in an instant. It turned out that the temporary change of POC was Evelyn. He lied to me. I didn't go to the conference room, but sat downstairs in the cafe waiting for him. Half an hour later, Aidan and Evelyn came out together. Evelyn was wearing a beige suit dress, her long hair was pulled into a low bun, and the pearl bracelet on her wrist made my eyes hurt. She smiled and said something to Aidan. Aidan lowered his head. The two were very close, like a pair of intimate significant others. I pushed open the door and walked over. Aidan saw me, and his face changed instantly. Leah, why are you here? Send you the computer. I handed him the computer, and my eyes fell on Evelyn. This is the new representative of Party A, right? Nice to meet you. Evelyn stretched out her hand, her fingernails painted with bean paste-colored nail polish, the same color as the scratches I saw on Aidan's shirt last time. Miss Leah, I'm Evelyn, and I've long admired your illustrations. Her voice was gentle, but with a hint of subtle provocation. Aidan pulled me aside and lowered his voice. Leah, don't think too much, we're just talking about work. Do you need to be that close to talk about work? I looked into his eyes. Why didn't you tell me that POC was her? I'm afraid you misunderstood. His explanation was pale. That night, Aidan didn't work overtime, but came back late with an unfamiliar perfume, not the woody fragrance Evelyn uses during the day, but a sweeter floral and fruity fragrance, like some kind of trap. While he was taking a shower, his phone was on the bedside table. The screen suddenly lit up, and a WeChat message popped up. Tonight's necklace suits you very well, let's pick it together next time. The note from the sender was Evelyn. I held my phone, my fingers cold. The necklace, which I had seen before, was bought by Aidan on a business trip last week. He said, I bought you a small gift, but he never took it out. It turned out to be for Evelyn. When Aidan came out, I handed him the phone. What is this? When he saw the message, his face turned pale and he hurriedly explained. She asked for it. I'm embarrassed to refuse. After all, it's Party A. Sorry to refuse. I laughed, but tears fell. Aidan, do you take me for a fool? He wanted to hug me, but I hid. I'm tired and want to be alone. I walked into the guest room, closed the door, and slid on the floor with my back against the door panel. The Manhattan lights outside the window were bright, but none of them could illuminate my heart. I'm late, and the smell of perfume on his body changed again and again. Sometimes it was Evelyn's woody fragrance, sometimes it was something else. I didn't ask any more questions, just buried myself in my work, painting those cute little animals, but when the brush fell, it always drew eyes with tears. On Friday night, Aidan said he was going to an industry cocktail party, and I asked him to come back early. At 2 in the morning, he came back drunk, and the collar of his shirt was stained with lipstick, which was exactly the same color as Evelyn had painted that day. As I helped him take off his coat, a restaurant bill fell out of his pocket. There were 2 desserts on it, and a bottle of 1998 Lafite the wine Aidan and I drank on our first date. I took the bill and walked up to Aidan. You went to Starlight with her, right? You drank Lafite and ate tiramisu, just like we did back then. Aidan opened his eyes. Cloudy. Leah, stop. I interrupted him. I wonder, when did you start? After a long silence, he finally said, the day she returned home, we met at the airport and she said she wasn't doing well. I just wanted to help her. Help her? Do you need help delivering necklaces, having a couple's dinner, and leaving lipstick marks? My voice trembled. Aidan, do you still love her? He didn't answer, just closed his eyes. That silence, like a knife, cut our 3-year relationship to the ground. To calm down and see if our relationship could be salvaged. Before leaving, I set up a shared location on Aidan's phone, not to spy on him, but to give myself a reason to give up. The days at the vacation home were calm, and Aidan accompanied me to watch the sea and take walks every day, as before. Until Wednesday afternoon, he answered the phone and said that the office had an urgent matter to go back temporarily. I'll go back with you, I said. No, I'll be back soon. You're waiting for me at home. He hurried away, and I turned on the location of my phone and saw that his car was not driving in the direction of the city, but in the direction of the airport. I drove behind him and watched him stop in the airport parking lot. Evelyn came out of the terminal with a suitcase in her hand, and Aidan ran over, took her suitcase, and helped her with her hair. They got in the car together, and Aidan's car drove downtown and ended up under an apartment where they used to live. Aidan said he sold the apartment after the divorce, but now they walked in together. I sat in the car and looked at the window of the building, tears blurring my eyes. It turned out that the urgent he said was to pick up his ex-wife. The sold apartment he said was actually kept forever, a hotbed for their rekindling of the old relationship. Evening, Aidan came back with a bunch of my favorite white roses in his hand. Leah, sorry for being late. The office is a little troublesome. Really? I looked at him. Is it windy at the airport? Is the bed in the old apartment still comfortable? Aidan's face changed instantly. Are you following me? I didn't follow you, just the location saw you go to the airport and then to your old apartment. I picked up the bunch of white roses and threw it on the ground. Aidan, can you stop lying to me? If you love her, just admit it. Why are you dragging me? He suddenly burst into anger. I lied to you? I'm not for this family yet. Evelyn has some information about my business when I started my business. If she exposes it, my office will be over. I'm with her just to get those information back. To get the information back? Do you need to stay with her in the old apartment? Do you need to give her a necklace? I sneered. Aidan, you always have reasons, but I don't believe those reasons anymore. That night, I packed my bags and was ready to go back to New York. Aidan hugged my legs and knelt on the ground. Leah, don't leave me. I know I'm wrong. I'll break up with her. Really, give me another chance. I looked at him, and my heart hurt like a fire. I still love him, but I also know that once trust is broken, it will never stick back. Aidan, let's separate for a while and let each other calm down. Only a dozen square meters, but full of my dreams. Aidan knocked on the door every day, delivering food and flowers, but I didn't open the door. Until one day, he brought an envelope. Leah, this is the chat record between me and Evelyn and the certificate of my transfer of money to her. I just wanted to use the money to let her go. I never loved her. I loved you. I opened the envelope, and there was indeed a chat record inside. Aidan had been asking Evelyn to leave and transferred $500,000 to her. But I also saw a message from Evelyn. Aidan, do you remember the meteor shower we saw in the Hamptons? You said you would love me forever. Aidan didn't reply, but the silence still made me uncomfortable. I returned the envelope to Aidan. Aidan, thank you for telling me this, but I need time. He nodded, his eyes full of disappointment. I will wait for you, no matter how long. Half a month later, I received a call from Aidan's sister Sophia. Leah, come to the hospital, Aidan has fainted. When I arrived at the hospital, Aidan was lying on the bed, his face pale. Sophia told me that Aidan had been working overtime recently, and often quarreled with Evelyn, and that he had fainted due to too much stress. Evelyn is here too, waiting outside. Sophia whispered, Leah, don't be too angry about my brother and Evelyn. In fact, when they divorced, it was not because of their personality differences, but because Evelyn's father owed gambling debts. Evelyn was afraid of dragging my brother down, so she took the initiative to propose the divorce. My brother has always been very guilty.